What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with our first team fixing video for Series 12, and we're looking at a Kyogre Calyrex Ice team today. So again, if you're interested in team fixing, where you, the viewer, get to submit a team to me, I will, quote unquote, fix it and optimize it with what I think is best at the current moment in the meta. And again, that is a tier 2 subscription to the channel, and it's only $5. Might as well. It's very affordable. And if you're interested in taking that to the next level, then you are interested in what is called Team Building, which is a tier 3 sub, where you and we sit in a Discord call together and we build a team from scratch. That is a tier 3 sub. But this is a tier 2 sub where the viewer has already made a team and wants me to basically review it, give my thoughts, and then I test it out in a few battles on the rank ladder. And if necessary, I also show some meaningful damage calculations, but this one not so much because we're aiming to just basically optimize some speed tiers, some HP values, and a little bit of bulk. So I won't be showing too much damage calcs for this one, but I still will note some worthy calcs that is very common. But this is a Calyrex Kyogre team, and it's looks like a pretty solid one. We are a Assault Vest Kyogre with 4 moves, Thunder and Hyper Beam. Holy cow. Okay. Then we have Tornadus with Hurricane Tailwind, Icy Wind, and Rain Dance. Wow, and the Wakan Berry. So we're gonna take 1 electric attack, and then we have a Babiri Berry Calyrex Ice. So that's probably for Zacian. We're Relaxed Nature, and we have no attack, but all HP and all defense. We got Protect, Trick Room, High Horsepower, Glacial Lance. That's a good move set. I don't know about those EVs. Alright, and then we have the Indeedee here with a very standard Indeedee with Psychic Seeds. It's timid. Oh, it's a fast Indeedee, so that's pretty good with Tornadus. And then it's a standard move set with the seeds. And then we have Porygon 2 with the Eviolite and almost max HP, max special defense, no defense, and we're sassy. We have a relatively standard move set. And then we have Regieleki, who is also relatively standard. So okay, so I question some of these EVs, but the 6 is, you know, not too bad. I think we can go for better options here, because right now we have a pretty good fast mode with Kyogre and Tornadus, but we don't have that strong of a slow mode, right? Like I know there's like some end game potential with the Porygon 2, but you know, I don't think Babiri Berry on the Calyrex is ideal. I think we can go a stronger trick room mode here, because like right now, you know, like if you're going against Calyrex Zacian, you know, I don't know how this does well against it, because we don't really have a dominant grass type to really hit the Kyogre with. Like I understand we have Thunder, but that's not enough. And yeah, we have a Regieleki, so that's okay, but I think we're gonna need more than this. And Yveltal like looks really strong against this. I know there's a Regieleki and a Calyrex Ice, but again, the power of Foul Play and Max Darkness is very good, and especially when there's just an Indeedee waiting to take that, right? And then you could just snarl everything down here. Yeah, Yveltal just clicks snarl, and there's no weakness policy here, so there's like no drawback. So that in itself can cause a problem, and our Trick Room mode is not like completely dominant. But the Porygon can help against like Calyrex Shadow, so there's that. But you know, I'm just thinking of like the Sun composition with like, you know, Venusaur, Groudon, Zacian, and Grimmsnarl, and I think it's going to be hard to break through, especially if they get their weather in position over ours. So I have an idea here. So what we're going to do is we're gonna retweak the team, adjust the EVs. So I'll see you in a bit when we hop on the showdown ladder. Alright, so now what we're looking at here is Pokemon Showdown, where we have everything here. And what I'm going to do real quick is, I understand there's an Indeedee here. It's a good Mon, and so is Porygon 2, but I don't think it just fits this team. And I think we need a little bit more answers to the rest of the meta. And, you know, I was also thinking about like Palkia teams and Solgaleo teams, and what does this team do against that? Not a lot. So, you know, I think we're gonna need a little bit more, and even like Dialga, like dude, Dialga just wrecks Calyrex Shadow, it wrecks Regieleki. Kyogre doesn't do a whole lot into it. Like, yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more, and I have a few ideas. And also, I think we're gonna say goodbye to Regieleki. I think we're gonna start from scratch from this, and I think we're gonna remove the Assault Vest here. Honestly, I don't think we need Hyper Beam either. I don't think we need Babiri Berry on the Calyrex either. I think those have to go. So what I think we can do is actually put a Sun Core on this, and this way we add a little bit more flexibility, we add more options against certain matchups, and you know, in a best of 3 format, that's what we want more dominant options. So this way, you know, the opponent has a harder time of playing against his team, because we have multiple options and multiple checks and multiple answers that they have to respect, and if they don't respect it, then they just can get steamrolled easily. All right, so what I'm thinking here is to add to the core here, look, like Gmax Venusaur, honestly. So what's also good here is now we have a strong Dynamax option, because you know, sometimes the Kyogre and the Calyrex, you don't want to max these, you just want to click Water Spout or click Glacial Lance, and that's what we want. You know, if we Dynamax, then we're just like single target moves, and then you know, it's not as advantageous in certain situations where you want to click Glacial Lance or you want to click a Water Spout or something like that. But if we have like a dominant max like Venusaur to chip everything down, and then you know, have Kyogre and Calyrex clean up in the back where things have already lost a majority of their HP, then you know, it just makes the team that much more fearful. So we're gonna have Venusaur here, and in all honesty, you know what, you know, Torkoal looks pretty cool. You know, just for that extra sun mode. So like, we have a dual weather team here, and you know what, because we have Calyrex and because we have Trick Room, I think we're gonna go a different direction here. So I'm gonna remove the Torn, and honestly, with these last 4, I think last 2, I think Ensign is good. All right, with Intimidate and Mimikyu, yeah, I think this is the play. So we have you know, this is like a classic series 8 lead or series 11, where you have like Instant Mimikyu with Calyrex in the back. You have your, you know, Fake Out Pressure, Trick Room, and then Parting Shot into Calyrex, Shadow Sneak, Dynamax, +2, you know, big damage. And then you know, Kyogre or even Torkoal can come in the late game and finish the job with like Eruption plays or Water Spout. And what I really like, you know, with Kyogre and Calyrex is the rain can stop the fire damage against Calyrex or Venusaur. You know, you don't have to bring Torkoal, sort of say. You don't. You know, Venusaur can very much also enjoy the rain, because now you don't have to fear fire damage. And as if Venusaur doesn't have to fear fire damage, then we're just kind of chilling. So yeah. But now let's just rework some of the team here. So I'm just going to reset some of these EVs. I do like that we're still modest. I will stay modest here. But overall, yeah. Oh, I I don't like Trick Room in the first slot. That's just a me thing. But I will just put everything back here. Trick Room and Protect. All right. So I think that's pretty good. And then we'll just reset some of these EVs as well. So. And then these are also brand new. So we got the 6, right? So let's just go ahead and reveal the GIFs here. So we got Torkoal, Venusaur, Mimikyu, and Ensign, right? So that's the 6. So now let's just go ahead and start redoing the EVs, the items, and the movesets. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show like two versions of this kind of squad where there is a Tornadus. But right now I want to show like a slow version of this squad. So obviously, because we have Trick Room here, we're gonna go with that slow bulky Kyogre kind of thing. And back in what's it called, Series 8, you know, you had like Instant Mimikyu with Tapu Fini and then Calyrex Ice. That was like the core, because Tapu Fini, you had a solid water type, but that had Misty Terrain that protected Calyrex from potential burns or sleeps. And then what you could do with your Tapu Fini is have a little bit of an end game with like Calm Mind setup. We don't have the Misty Terrain here, but we do have Calm Mind, and it's been picking up a little bit on some Kyogre slow builds. So what you can do is go for like if you can actually go for a Calm Mind Kyogre set. And you know, it's something new. It's like a new little toy that people are starting to play with. But I think it fits on specifically on Trick Room kind of teams with Calyrex Ice. I think Calm Mind Ogre is not great if you're doing like Tornadus hyper offense stuff with Zacian. I don't think it's necessary. I think you just go like a modest almost max speed there. But on this kind of squad where you're like going slower and going for like a bulkier route, a more positional route, I think Calm Mind works. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually give up the water spout. I'm telling you right now, we are giving up the water spout. All right, we're gonna go for the Origin Pulse instead. And I know it can miss and Water Pulse can't, but you still have that dominant water move that you can click that does a lot of damage. Okay, and you know the goal is Origin Pulse puts on a lot of pressure as it is, and you know you have these dominant Dynamax options like Calyrex or Venusaur that can just clean up, and even Torkoal can do that job too, right? So you know even if Origin Pulse can't pick up the KOs that Water Spout can, it's fine because you got these three, you know. And Torkoal's almost like a little bit of a restricted to a degree. So I do like Calm Mind Kyogre here, and then with those special defense boosts you could live a lot of things. Like you could live potential Venusaur hits, you could live like thunders from opposing Kyogres, or like even Regieleki's. So it's actually really strong. And then even like Freeze Dry from Kyurem White you could potentially live. So if you can get in the right spot, like you can even like straight up lead Instant Kyogre and then like fake out one thing and then, you know, click Calm Mind. You know, you can do that. Okay, so that's one kind of option. And for Calyrex Ice here, this is we're gonna keep the same kind of moveset, but again, we gotta go with the weakness policy, man. It's just too dominant and not, you know, it's just too good not to run. I understand the idea of the Babiri Berry, but like, you know, you don't do that much damage without this weakness policy, and you know you have Dynamax, so you might as well take advantage of it. So we're gonna go with the weakness policy here, and then Venusaur. First of all, we're gonna make sure we click Chlorophyll. Standard moveset here, we're gonna go with Leaf Storm. All right, I think Weather Ball is really good because now you can go for like Max Geyser in the rain and remove like opposing Incineroars, and you know Calyrex Ice doesn't like Incineroar, so if you can do that, that's great. And then from here, of course, we're gonna go like Sleep Powder, but first I'm gonna go Earth Power and then Sleep Powder. Okay, and then I do like on this kind of team, I do like the Life Orb. I understand, you know, like Kobo Berry is really good, or even like the weakness policy sets with like Grimmsnarl, but on this kind of team where like Venusaur is one of your, or if not your premier Dynamax option, you want to go like Life Orb here. And Torkoal, so Torkoal, we're gonna make sure we click Drought. Pretty standard set. Eruption, I think on Trick Room is pretty good. Burning Jealousy and then Yawn, right? This way you can like punish potential early Dynamax options. I've seen like Body Press, Burning Jealousy, Yawn. I think that's good on more of a like supportive Torkoal set where like you're just pivoting Torkoal in and out and not really focusing on damage but more support. But here we kind of want the Torkoal to deal some damage because we're in Trick Room, and you know we want to potentially sweep with Eruption and, you know, Origin Pulse and Glacial Lance Blaze, right? So I think on this kind of squad we do want the Eruption, but I do like the recovery on the Citrus Berry, so we are going to stay with that. Okay, Incineroar. Pretty standard Incineroar. I think we go Safety Goggles, otherwise opposing Venusaurs are just going to straight up body me. So, you know, Safety Goggles here gives us a fighting shot. Flare Blitz, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Throat Chop, right? And the thing with Throat Chop here is a lot of people know how I like to run my Incineroars. I like to run them a little bit faster, especially on Trick Room teams, because then I can go for Throat Chop. First of all, outside of Trick Room, I can go for Throat Chop, and they can't go for their Parting Shot. And then in Trick Room, my Parting Shot goes last. So they get off their Parting Shot first, and then whatever they bring in, I can Parting Shot that, and then get whatever I want in. So this way, I get my... That's the advantage of like having a faster Incineroar with Parting Shot. That I always explain it in every video where I have like Trick Room with Incineroar. Okay, Mimikyu here, a pretty standard one. So we're gonna go Mental Herb here, and then something like, you know, Shadow Sneak. Where is that? Yeah, Shadow Sneak, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room, and you have a few options here for this last one. Let me just take a look here and show you some options. So you can go play rough. I think that's not too bad against like potential fairy. I'm sorry, potential dragon options like, you know, Pocky and whatnot. I think it's pretty good. So you can go play rough. You can go safeguard where like you can protect yourself from status. So like, you know, you don't have your Venusaur anymore. I'm sorry, you don't have your Tapu Fini anymore. So safeguard makes a lot of sense here. So you can do that, or you can just simply click the play rough button, and you know, at least this way you can take care of Urshifus, take care of Yveltals, right? And also Pocket. So I think we're just gonna go play rough here, but I did like safeguard. I thought about it. I honestly did, and yeah, I almost went with it. But if you like safeguard, you can definitely go for it. But yeah, those are the moves and the items. So now let's talk about some EVs. So let's do like some of the easier ones first. So Incin. All right, so Incin, I always like to go careful. A lot of you guys, you like to go second EV bump with 156 investment. You know, you can see that 141, and then the next one is 143. All right, so it skips to 142. So again, I always mention this in every video. If you are someone that doesn't understand what an EV bump is, comment in the video below, and you know, I'll explain what it is, and I'll explain what it means. But again, what it means is if you invest an EV, it'll go up by 2 stats instead of 1. That's why we call it a bump, and there's 3 of them. But more on that in another video or in the comment section. But from here, I'm actually just going to go to the first bump, which is 76, and then I'm going to go 95 speed. I always like this kind of benchmark for my Incineroar. And then what I also like to do is just invest this much HP and then this much defense. So this way, after an Intimidate, you can take a close combat from a Zacian. And that's one of the damage calcs I was talking about, right? And I can physically show that in the damage calculator. But this is my Incineroar set. Torkoal, again, we just want it to be quiet, you know, 0 IVs in speed, and just to be a little bit bulky with our set here. So 212 HP is pretty good. Actually, well, before even this, 196 special attack, so we hit a bump here, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, so like 141, 143. So like, yeah, here's our special attack investment. And then here we just go like, what is it, 212? Yeah, just so that we have an even number, and then the rest just goes in special defense, that little magic 103 prime number. Okay, but yeah, this is what I like with these two. And then from here, Venusaur. Okay, so a pretty standard Venusaur set. So what you can do is, again, you can go a little bit slower, where you can have like 100 speed here, and then what this can do is after Sun, you outspeed Calyrex Shadow. So that's always nice, and that may be all you prefer to outspeed. And then this way you can go for a little bit more bulk. But for me, I like to go a little bit faster. I'm gonna go 212, and you know, what this benchmark does is it'll outspeed Cinderace, but that's not really too relevant right now in Series 12. But what you can do is outspeed some of the other big threats, like those slower Landorus's, or you know, just some of those Dynamax mons that aim for like, you know, like 123, 124, 125 speed. So this way, if you're like 127, I think that's okay. But if you prefer just to go a little bit slower, all right. Oh, and this will actually also outspeed Thundurus, right? This much. But I like to go a little bit faster here with my Venusaur. But yeah, if you're someone that prefers a little bit more bulk, then you could just go 100 investment here. And actually, let me just show this one real quick. So just like max attack, just go like 108 HP. You optimize your HP for Life Orb chip, and then just get an even number in the defenses here, and then the rest in like something like regular defense, something like this. All right, this is like a slow, bulky Venusaur, right? But if you want a little bit faster, where you want to outspeed some of those Thundurus speed creepers, you know, you could do something like this, where you outspeed them by like this much. But then, you know, certain Groudons go for this, so you want to also outspeed Groudon to an extent, right? So I just go a little bit faster and just go like 127. Let me wait, what happened? Oh yeah, so right here, yeah, yeah, this is good. And then just max my HP like this. So this is my Venusaur spread. A little bit fast, but not too fast, right? And then from here, Calyrex. Okay, so here's the thing with Calyrex. You're gonna max the HP, but then from here, all right, you are going to do the following. This is you can actually EV this where you can survive Life Orb, Astral Barrage. I call it the bars set. All right, and bars. This is relax. Hold on, this should be adamant. I was gonna say, bars found a way back in Series 8 where like you can EV this and survive that Calyrex Shadow, Astral Barrage. We can do that too. We're gonna make it a little bit different where you can have a little bit more attack. And I remember Neil telling me that, so shout outs to Neil and bars here. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to I skipped it. 148. Yeah, something like this. And then have 108 special defense. And this bulk will let us live. But what I'm also gonna do is, you know, take one out and then just go like 4-4. So this way we can outspeed other Calyrex Ice Riders that are not in Trick Room, so to say. All right, so this way we get, you know, it's not actually a speed tie. So something like this. All right, and if you want, you could do this and then just so that you get like 148 over there. You know, either way, it's okay. It's not a big deal, but anyway. All right, so we got the Calyrex, we got the Venusaur, we got the Torkoal, we got the Incineroar. All right, the Mimikyu. All right, the Mimikyu is very, very basic here. So we're just gonna go something like, I think we just go Impish here. I think this is okay. Where we have, what is it, 228 HP? Yeah, that, like, this is okay. And then a little bit of speed, a little bit of special defense. We're gonna go to the bump in our bulk here, and then just some attack, right? With our leftover EVs. I think this is okay. All right, so that's our Mimikyu spread. Again, it's all really optimizing with our bulk and just dumping the rest of the EVs into what's left over. All right, now for the bulky Kyogre set. So basically, you just want to have like max HP here. I think this is pretty good. You could even like drop it one a little bit just so that you can get a little bit more of an even recovery with your leftovers. Actually, no, you can't. You need 208. So never mind. We're just gonna go to 207, and then from here you can just go first bump in our Kyogre special attack, because look, 198 with you know, after like Calm Mind is actually really hard hitting. So I think this is enough. And then you can just go like 140 in the defense, and then a little bit, you know, if you have you know, 112 can outspeed those speed creepers that want to outspeed Calyrex Shadow. So you can just go like 114, you know, just to outspeed those speed creepers, and then just dump the rest in special defense. So this way you get a nice even number. When you click Calm Mind, you get you know, a nice whole number. All right, I think, is this Neil set? I think it is. All right, if it is, shout out to Neil. But I just remember this one off the top of my head. I think some players, what they also do is they take away from the special attack and dump more in the defense, or yeah, something like that, or a little bit less speed, and then just make it so that this is like 180 defense. There's some calcs there. I can show you some damage calcs, but yeah, I think this is it. This is one version, right? So let me go ahead and make this pace. All right, so let me just show you this on my screen. So this is our slow bulky version, right? And I think again, Instant Mimikyu is very solid. You know, you have that pivot option into Calyrex Ice, and then you even have like a pivot option into Torkoal if you want, like if you click Trick Room. But again, you can have Venusaur plus, you know, Instant with Torkoal in the back, or Venusaur plus Calyrex with Torkoal in the back. You know, lots of flexible options. You could do like instant Calyrex lead, you know, protect Calyrex, go for Trick Room on the Mimikyu. I think that works very well. And then second turn, just click Shadow Sneak, Dynamax, and Smash, or just click +2 Glacial Lenses, and then max the Kyogre or Venusaur in the late game, right? So something like this. But yeah, I think this is like a relatively standard way of trying to use Calyrex, Ice Rider, and Kyogre, right? So you have that Sun core again, and then you have the supporting cast with Instant and Mimikyu, and you know, a potential max from either Calyrex or Kyogre, but also the Venusaur, right? So I think this is solid. So let's take a look at another version that I like to call it the Clover Ice Ogre kind of team, and I would use this kind of team in like a close sheet, and I'll show you what I mean, but let's go into that segment of the video. Alright, so let me show you the Clover Spice here. So here's the thing, what we can do is we can go the faster route and go with like Tornadus, and again we're still having the Trick Room mode, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Focus Sash on the Tornadus, alright, however you want to say it. Tailwind, Hurricane of course because we have the rain, Brutal Swing, yes, this is it. This is the tech, okay? And of course, because we're SAS, we're just gonna do 252, 252, 4. Okay, the reason, oh, and Timid. The reason why I'm doing this, is if you look at this, Calyrex, I'm gonna change the EV spreads right now. I'm gonna go Jolly, okay? But hear me out, watch this. Hear me out. I don't know if you guys know this, but max speed Calyrex Ice Rider, when it's Jolly, after Tailwind, outspeeds Calyrex Shadow. I think that is nuts. Okay, the fact that you can click Tailwind and you outspeed Calyrex Shadow, and then you can go for Glacial Lances for potential KOs, and or even go for like Brutal Swings and then prop the policy this way. I think that is absolutely goated. I think that is like, you know, if you were in like a closed sheet tournament, I would 100% do it like this. All right, you could catch so many people off guard with this. So we're gonna go max attack, max special defense, the same set. That's not changing, okay? But again, you know, you could protect, click Tailwind. You know, maybe they focus down your Torn, but the next turn you click Brutal Swing, and then Dynamax, you're +2, and now you're faster than Calyrex Shadow. I think that is absolutely nuts. So we're definitely going to go with this. We're going to call this the Speed Ogre team. And then for here, we don't need the calm mindset anymore. I think we can just go back to the standard Kyogre with like Water Spout, Origin Pulse. I think we want. Do we want Ice Beam? I think we do. Or Thunder. Thunder is actually not bad. Like. But the thing is, we have Venusaur for like, you know, bulky water type. So I think Ice Beam is still okay. And we're just going to reset some of these EVs here. I think all we need to really do again is just be faster than Reggie Alecki Speed Creepers in Tailwind. So, excuse me. I think that's this, where you're at 139. But a lot of Kyogres are going like this. So why not just go one speed over and go to 140? So now you outspeed them. And now we're just speed creeping the speed creepers, right? So from here, I think you just want almost like max special attack here. And then, you know, just, this is, first of all, this is Mystic Water, right? Not leftovers. We don't need the recovery anymore. And then we can just go, again, 4, 4, and then 28. And then this is all we really need from our Kyogre, just a tiny bit of bulk. This is just meant to be fast, deal damage, and then go home. Alright, we got the Torn, we got the Kyogre, we fixed the Calyrex. The Venusaur, Torkoal, and the Instant, they stay the same. Right, so we're going to call this Clovers Series 12 Turbo Ice Ogre. I think, listen, I think this is actually kind of fun. You know, the fact that, again, under Tailwind, you're gonna surprise people. You straight up are gonna surprise people, and I think it's something worth testing. And if the viewer is watching, I highly encourage them to try both teams. But of the two, I think I kind of like this one a little bit more. But again, this one with like the calm mindset, I think that one's also pretty cool. I think they're both good depending on the player, which one you want to try. But yeah, let's just take a look at some sample battles where we actually use both teams and see how it all works out. Okay, so this one is a Zacian Yveltal team. So Zacian Yveltal is very strong, and there's Grimmsnarl, Blastoise, and then there's the Gastrodon. So he has to respect the Kyogre by bringing the Gastrodon in some shape or form. And you know, if he brings the Zacian, I think he has to bring like a flying type just in case, so that way he doesn't take like a max Quake. But you know, I think the Zacian and the Gastrodon do come in this kind of matchup. So I'm just going to go straight up Trick Room here. Instant Mimikyu with Calyrex in the back. And then also have like the Kyogre if I need to. Or even like Torkoal. But I think the Kyogre is fine. So we let play start. We go Instant, we go Mimikyu, and he goes with Grimmsnarl, and he goes with Zapdos. So this is relatively standard. He was probably thinking Venusaur lead, so he pivots out the Gastrodon for some reason. I'm not sure why he did that, but he goes for a Heat Wave. He breaks my disguise, but that doesn't matter because now we click Parting Shot, we go into Calyrex Ice, and now we have our Trick Room set up after the Mimikyu gets it off. So notice how I didn't go for Fake Out. I didn't think it was necessary. Even if he got his screens up, you know, I'm still going to be super aggressive with the Calyrex, so it's better off just to get the Parting Shot off the Zapdos and weaken it, and then just go into the Calyrex. Now, I could see the Zapdos switching out here for something like Zacian to take my Max Hailstorm, you know, but again, I think he has to switch it because I have this slot pinned. This Gastrodon isn't really doing anything. I understand in the late game, it could pose a problem for the Kyogre, but, you know, he could max it, but that's fine because I'm gonna be +2, and then it's gonna take neutral hailstorms. And if I can get a kill on this slot, then this Gastrodon doesn't really do much. So here we go. He goes into Zacian like I thought he would, but again, I'm just gonna Shadow Sneak, proc my Policy, click my Hailstorm, and look how much damage this does to Zacian. So he actually is a little bit faster in Trick Room, so that's why he kept it. He's trying to fish for the burn. I respect the play. And Zacian does so much damage. And then Incin, I come out here just to weaken the Zacian. I call the Protect. He goes for another Skull. He doesn't get the burn again. And then Hailstorm just kills the Gastrodon. And now nothing is stopping Kyogre in the back. And then he basically just forfeits. So I respect the attempt. All right. He was a very slow Gastrodon. But yeah, again, Calyrex, it's broken. So let's just go to another one. Okay, this is that Zamazenta Zygarde team. Is this Moxie's team again? I keep seeing this team on ladder. Moxie, what are you doing? Stop making people play Zygarde Zamazenta. But again, you know, he has the Amoonguss, so the Trick Room mode can be a little bit scary, so I have to just not just click it free nilly-willy. But, you know, Calyrex Ice just wrecks this entire team. Like, he's got 4 ice weaknesses. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. He's got 3. I thought Zamazenta was weak to ice for some reason. But yeah, I think Torkoal in the late game just finishes the job. As long as I can deal enough damage with Calyrex Ice, I think it's okay. But yeah, so here we go. I'm just going to go very, very standard here. I go Calyrex and I go Mimikyu here. So this is another one of those leads where I can be flexible here. And there's no fake out pressure. These things can't do that much damage to Calyrex Ice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get off a Glacial Lance with no fear whatsoever and just get up my Trick Room because I know he can't really kill me. He goes for Scald. I don't know why he's doing that in Misty Terrain. That does like no damage. So I get free Glacial Lance damage and there's my Trick Room. So now here's something interesting to note. So the thing is, I can kill this Zamazenta with a +2 max Quake, but the question is, does he swap into the Thunderous to absorb that? Again, I do have Torkoal in the back, so what I do want to do is at least cover for that option. If he does switch, he dies to Glacial Lance or he dies to an Ice move. If he stays in, I might die, but then Torkoal just finishes the job in the back and just clicks Eruption, and then I still have the Kyogre to max in the end, right? So that's what I'm thinking here. So Shadow Sneak, so he stays in, right? There's no Protect. Glacial Lance does pretty good damage. And there's another Scald, and that puts it in range for the Behemoth Bash. So he didn't want to swap into the Thunderous, but then again, he just kind of forfeits. He doesn't really know what to do. I just click Eruption, and both of these things die. Like I Shadow Sneak the Finny, and then Eruption, goodbye. And then Thunderous, what? I mean, that could max, I guess. But even then. I still have my own max in the back with Kyogre, so there's that. And in Trick Room, I'm faster, so yeah. So that was another easy one where, again, it's all about positioning. I lost my Calyrex, but I still had my Torkoal in the back to click Eruption. All right, so now let's look at the version with Tornadus. All right, so this is a Calyrex Shadow Zacian matchup. So Calyrex Shadow Rider, again, we have that option. If we click Tailwind, we can outspeed it with our Calyrex Ice Rider. So, but again, he does have the Zacian combination, but again, Calyrex Ice just kind of steamrolls him. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Max Hailstorm just kills 2 of his Mons. Max Quake kills Eleki and Incin, and Zacian, and you know, I have Brutal Swing on the Tornadus, so his Calyrex Shadow is kind of pinned here, and I also have Incin, so He doesn't have much going for him. So he does go for Instant, he goes for Alecki, I go for Torn, and I go for my own Instant. So my job is to repivot this into Calyrex Ice or Kyogre, and that's one of the benefits of this team. So alright, so here we go. I just want to stop the Alecki from doing any damage. I want to break that Sash. Maybe Tailwind is not optimal there, but you know, maybe I should have just aimed for some damage instead. This way I can stall my Tailwind, but I went for Tailwind anyway. But I go into my Calyrex Ice Rider in this spot, and I want to repivot my Incineroar here. So he goes for Volt Switch, he goes into Zacian, I go for Parting Shot, and instead of going into Torn, I go into Kyogre. I want to do some damage right here, right now. He goes for Parting Shot, so he can only pick one slot. If he went into the Kyogre, I would have Dynamaxed the Calyrex and smashed. If he did the Calyrex, then I just click Water Spout, and then I reset my Calyrex. But again, got 2 more turns of Tailwind. I go into Instant here just to pivot the Zacian again. He repivots it. He goes into his own Instant. But again, I just click Water Spout and goodbye Incineroar. And there's 1 turn of Tailwind left. So he just brings back out the Zacian. I don't know why he does this. So I go into my Tornadus. And then I click Water Spout. I'm faster than Alecki, and I kill Zacian. And now I can just reset my Tailwind. He brings in Landorus. But again, that doesn't matter because I have an Ice move on my Kyogre. Not that I need to click it, but there's my Tailwind, and there's a Hailstorm, and that's a clean 4-0. He thought I was Specs. I am not Specs. It's just a normal Mystic Water Kyogre. Alright, so let's look at one more. Okay, so this is almost like the mirror where like he has the Sun Boys with Venusaur and Groudon, and then he has Yveltal. So I like Yveltal in this kind of sense, and he's got the Grimmsnarl here. So this is a very standard Yveltal team here. Again, I do have my own Sun Core, and I think that's going to be very, very clutch. And again, I have the Tornadus, so I can be faster than him. If he brings out the Sun, I have my Tornadus, so I will have the Sun and Tailwind and have the speed control on my side. So I'm going to go Venusaur, I'm going to go Tornadus. If he does lead the Groudon, that's good. He does not, he leads his Incineroar instead. So that's okay, because what I can do is pivot out into Kyogre and turn my Weather Ball into Max Geyser and kill this Incineroar. And then that way, this Venusaur can't go for something like Max Flare and just kill me. So, alright, if he does bring in the Groudon. So here's my Kyogre. He maxes the Venu. I max my Kyogre, and he goes probably for Fake Out. Yeah, he did. He went for Fake Out in the Torn slot, and then he does Max Geyser, but that's kind of funny because he went into the Torn slot, and I just KO his Incineroar because I'm Life Orb. So there's the Groudon, right? So I'm just going to go back into Tornadus just to dodge a Precipice Blades if he does go for it, but he just protects instead. I live because I have a little bit of Bulk on my Venu, and then there's the Vine Lash, and again, he's not Life Orb, so I do live. And then the Vine Lash is chipping away, but he does get Citrus Berry recovery. But again, I can click Tailwind now, and I have the speed control, so I can remove this Venusaur with a Max Flare because I have, you know, I have Life Orb. So I do Max Flare, and he does live, so his Venusaur is actually pretty bulky, which is kind of funny. So he takes out my Venu, but that's okay because now coming in from the back, guess who I have? I bring in Calyrex Ice, and now we have the combo. I'm just gonna, yeah, he's done. I mean, the Brutal Swing, the activation of the Weakness Policy, and not that I needed it, but there's the Glacial Lance, and goodbye. And you know, he has no answer, and of course he just clicks Forfeit. So yeah, there's the combo that I was talking about. So now let's just do one final recap here. So again, here's our Turbo Ice Ogre team with the Brutal Swing, Calyrex, Jolly 252. I'm not sure if I completely need max speed, but I think it's kind of funny that I can outspeed Calyrex Shadow Rider. Again, this is like closed sheet tournament where I would bring this. You know, if this is open sheet, I don't know. I think I'm better off bringing the other team. This is the Calm Mind Ogre. And again, if you don't like Calm Mind Ogre, then you can just go like you could just go Mystic Water and then just go Water Spout, and then you're fine. So, you know, up to you. I think it's a nice option, nice endgame option to have on this kind of team. But yeah, definitely Instant Mimikyu was definitely needed, along with the Sun Core with Venusaur, Torkoal. I think that's what makes this kind of team strong. You have fast mode and you have slow mode, right? So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did we improve the team? Did we not? And again, if you are interested in team fixing, All right, that is a tier 2 sub on the channel. Feel free, message me on Discord if you do apply for tier 2. Send me your team and I will fix it. I will optimize it to the best of my ability. If you're interested in team building, again, that is a tier 3 sub where you and I, we sit in a Discord call and we just build a team from scratch and hash out the EVs and test it out. So that is a tier 3 sub. So do it while the format hasn't started. Do it while there's still tours going on. Let me help you optimize your team. But until next time, have a good night.